Um, should be live. Just gonna check the audio, make sure we're good here. Or it should be showing up as live in a few seconds for us.
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying?
I had fun playing Mario Kart, actually. It was nice.
It's a good game.
Haven't played it in
Oh, wow.
forever.
Okay, so it should be at the top of my subscriptions box. Checking the audio. Alright, yeah, we're good. Cool. Hey everyone, welcome to a special Sunday episode of Follow My Tracers. I'm one of your hosts, Figure9, aka Tony, and today I'm joined by Power Grudge, Jim. Hey man, what's up?
Nothing. Feels weird doing this on a Sunday, but still glad to be here. Happy to do the show still.
Yeah, we had some difficulties this week on Friday and Saturday, just getting the show going, and we were all pretty busy and all that. So we pushed it to Sunday. We still wanted to do it though. We still wanted to do some stuff. So it's just gonna be us two today. Harley could not make it this week. Hopefully he will be back next week. But Jim, what have you been playing this week, man?
So for the most part, I haven't been playing really more than like a couple games. So I started Final Fantasy 15, which I'm pretty happy about. I bought it way when it first came out. Oh my god, was that 4 years ago now? No, 3, 4 years ago. I
I
can't remember.
think it was 2016 or maybe 2017. For those listening, also on Game Pass right now. So, but continue,
Yes,
continue.
yes. But yeah, I just started that. I'm only a few hours in. When I initially owned it, I only got I think I saw my save file. I think it said like 5 hours, so it was perfect. So I didn't really get far enough to not want to start over or anything like that. But I've been doing that. I'm really enjoying it so far. I've been playing Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor. Plugging a little bit of time into that. Not a whole lot. Can be kind of focusing more on Final Fantasy, but and I also started playing Elder Scrolls Online out of curiosity and out of just kind of missing playing an Elder Scrolls game. So I decided to start doing that, and I'm actually having a lot of fun. I'm pretty impressed with I don't really know a whole lot about it, but I'm pretty impressed with how big the world is. I don't know if it's the kind of game where all the previous like major expansions kind of get rolled into the game when like the next one comes out. Like I didn't buy Greymore or whatever the newest one is, but I don't know if like the Morrowind one or the Skyrim one, if that's all rolled into it. But the map's pretty big, and I'm actually having a lot of fun with it. I mean, in my head, I still kind of consider it like a Skyrim light in terms of gameplay, but I'm still like pretty into it, admittedly. But this week I'm going to do something a little different, and I want to talk about something that I'm excited to play. So one game that I'm really looking forward to playing, collectively with you and Harley and anyone else really, is Phasmophobia. So that's a game we've been talking about playing for a while now, and now that you, Tony, I mean, it kind of got me into spooky games again with you guys. Like I know we played Cry of Fear, which let's never talk about that game again. But just the fact that Phasmophobia looks awesome, and all the stuff just excites me because it adds like something fresh to a genre. Not that survival horror is stale, but it just kind of introduced something new that I've never really experienced before. So I'm pretty excited to do that. What about you? What have you been playing this week?
I'm not gonna lie, you cut out a ton during that. Um,
Oh, really?
I don't know. I think it was on my end. I think BattleNet might have been doing a download or something. I'm not too sure. So I just closed it. Got the gist of it though. Excited to play Phasmophobia, and I agree. Um, really looking forward to that. And for me, I've been playing. What have I been playing? I've been playing some more WoW recently. Just doing some stuff here and there in that game. Been doing a good amount of Call of Duty. Just I want to get to level 100 on the battle pass, so I've been doing that. Pretty close. I think I'm 94 after today. Apparently it was double progression weekend. It definitely didn't feel like it. I don't know. I think I was moving the same speed, so I don't really know what was going on there. But I got a couple days to get a couple levels here, so I'm probably going to play a bit more tonight after the podcast just to keep going. And yeah, that's about it on my end. Other than that, like I haven't been really playing too many single player games or anything like that. I did try out Fuser though, which was a free game this weekend if you have Xbox Live Gold. It was one of their free weekend plays or whatever, and that's made by Harmonix, the people who made Rock Band, and that game's pretty fun. You're kind of like a DJ, and you're mixing different tracks together, and you're kind of creating like a set for a show. It's pretty fun. It's pretty unique. You can make a lot of really cool different combinations. So I had fun with that. Glad it was free this weekend. Certainly not a game I think I would pay full price for, but if it was ever like deeply on sale, or of course if it gets rolled into Game Pass at some point, that's a perfect game for that. So I'm hoping that at some point in the future that's the case, because I'd love to return to it. That's about it for me though, man. A reminder for everyone watching live here on YouTube, you guys can talk in the chat and we will do our best to answer you guys. And for anyone watching the VOD later on, you guys can leave comments in the comment section below. Ask us questions, respond to our topics, whatever you want to do, and we will also get back to you live on the next show. So let's get into our Fuel Up with G Fuel, not sponsored section of the show. I'm having some green apple right now. Jim, what are you having / what did you have today, if any?
I will fully admit, to disappoint everybody and myself, I have not had any G Fuel today, and but it's only because I have to work tomorrow. Otherwise, I'd be cranking it up right now. But I'm having water, and I had like the Kool-Aid liquid squirt stuff in it. So I guess I could get away with saying I had grape. So I guess grape's my answer.
That's good. I like that.
I'm so tempted to get the reskinned grape though, G Fuel tub. I'm not gonna lie, because I kind of miss
grape?
having the normal grape. Yeah, kind of miss it.
Yeah, grape's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. Yeah, so let's jump into Infinite Watch, which we have major news this week. And that news is the community manager, John Unishek, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. He tweeted, "I love Halo." Now.
Oh, okay. I thought you weren't joking at first. I thought, but when we talked on Friday, there was nothing. So
well, hold on.
See anything.
Hear me out here. Okay. Why would he tweet that randomly? Probably because he was playing Halo Infinite and he was having such a great time. So
makes me more jealous now. Damn.
We're grasping at straws this week, gang. There was actually nothing on Halo Infinite this week. There was nothing I could find. There wasn't even like a rumor I could pull up or anything like that. It was slim pickings. So this was the only thing I could really find. And maybe he was playing Halo Infinite. That's not too far of a stretch. We know he has played it. In that big 20-minute interview they did last week, where he talked to the Sandbox dev. He mentioned multiple times, because that's the same guy in the video that tweeted this, and he and he said multiple times in that he's played Infinite and he liked using the grapple shot and all that. So clearly he's in the process of playing it, probably just helping to like QA and stuff like that, since they're just really in a polish phase at this point. So yeah, he could have been playing Halo Infinite. He loved it so much that he had to tweet out, "I love Halo." So
I mean, I'll take that, sure.
That's Infinite Watch. We're watching. There is really nothing going on this week though. So we're gonna.
Well, actually, hold on.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna cheat and say on Twitter, and I don't have a link for it, but on Twitter, somebody had redone the Halo 3 artwork, and they put Master Chief in his Halo Infinite armor, and it actually looked really nice. So that's that's my contribution, my first contribution to Halo Infinite Watch anyway. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah, it was actually I saw that too. It's pretty nice. Man, Chief's armor in Infinite is it might be the best armor. I don't know. It looks really good.
I'd have to look at it again. I can't remember all the little details. I remember the big 117
nice.
though.
It's very, very close to Halo 3, which I think is a good thing, because Halo 3 was probably the top in my opinion. up until maybe now. I think I like this one a bit more. But let's jump into the news this week, and there was a lot of news, a lot of different things happening this week. You had a big Nintendo Direct, which is obviously the main topic of the show. We also had BlizzCon, and some other pieces of news that came out. So, excuse me. Let's start off with something a bit lighter though, Jim. Valheim, which is out on Steam right now, is selling like crazy, right?
Kind of sweeping the nation, to use a very old terminology, or old term, I should say. So Valheim, for those who don't know, it's kind of like a crafting survival game. It's inspired by Norse mythology. Um, it's sold 3 million copies to date as of the article, which was a couple days ago. But this is pretty significant because this doesn't come too long after they had sold 2 million copies earlier this week. So they're hitting sales projections and what do you call it? Like numbers this is crazy. Like it's already, I think, um, one of Steam's top 250 best reviewed games of all time, right now at 78th. So it's got overwhelmingly
Wow.
positive reviews. There's already over 60,000 reviews, and they've hit on February 18th. They had 390,550 concurrent players, which put it into the top 5 most played games on Steam. Which, I mean, this game hasn't really been out that long, and kind of crazy this thing is, selling as well. And it seems to be like pretty well regarded. Do you know much about it? Even though Harley plays it, I still don't really know much about it other than like the little bit of gameplay I've seen.
Yeah, from what I understand, it's like Rust in a lot of ways, where it's like an open world crafting survival game, but it's more like there's more like PvE elements. So like there's like world bosses and stuff that you team up with other players to take down, which is kind of cool.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, I've only seen a couple streamers play it. It definitely looks interesting. And I think it's another beneficiary of a couple big name streamers. Actually, I shouldn't just say a couple. A lot of streamers kind of just gravitating to one game, and I like that. That has to be a big part of the success. That there's millions of people probably cumulatively watching, all these different people, and they see them playing this game and having fun, so they go and buy it too, right? It's kind of crazy. Good for them. Glad to see that it's selling so well and that and that so many people are enjoying it. I mean, the fact that it's getting that many good reviews too is awesome. So, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
So it's cool when like an indie game gets this kind of love, I should say. Like, or
Yeah,
not an indie game, I should say, but like a smaller game.
yeah. Because I mean, it definitely was not like a big name release or studio or anything like that. It almost looks like another random game on Steam, but it's doing well. It's almost like Fall Guys back in the summer when that kind of took the world by storm and everybody bought Fall Guys.
Hmm.
Kind of the
And
same
I mean,
idea.
admittedly, the more just when I was looking through that article for the show, there's like a gameplay video that was playing over top. And as I was talking, I was kind of looking at the video and I'm going, huh, maybe it would be kind of fun to play. I feel like I'd have to play it with, you guys, and not, I don't think I could do it on my own because I never really played Rust. I never really played these like survival crafting games too much,
Yeah.
mostly because in my impression of games like that, it's a lot of PvP, and I feel like I'm the rare kind of guy that doesn't care much for PvP in terms of games like that. Like I'd rather there be more PvE type of stuff. And it seems like Valheim has a lot more of that kind of thing going on. So might entice me to try it out, but time will tell. We shall see.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. It could be another game that we all play together. So, um, yeah, Harley's the guinea pig right now. He has it, so he's playing it and kind of giving us the info on ground level. But we'll go from there, and maybe we'll have some more info to talk about Valheim later. I'm sure this game's going to keep growing and growing. Um, so let's get into BlizzCon, and you got a piece of news there too, Jim. That I'll stop and let you kind of discuss. But BlizzCon
Yep.
happened earlier this week, and it was they called it BlizzCon line. Get it? Like online BlizzCon. It was pretty cringe.
Barf.
Yeah, awful, awful. I mean, I get it, but just call it BlizzCon. Anyways, so there's, it was obviously all digital and all that, and they had a bunch of announcements. A lot of them leaked prior to, unfortunately, but I didn't actually see them when they leaked. I just kind of read earlier that they leaked. So, first, World of Warcraft Burning Crusade Classic finally got announced, and that is probably one of the worst kept secrets in gaming, that they were working on that. Everyone kind of knew it, so it's good to know that that's coming out this year. And that's basically, for people who don't know, there's kind of two different versions of WoW that you can play. You can either play retail WoW, which is obviously the newest expansion with Shadowlands, or if you want to go back to the OG experience, you can play World of Warcraft Classic, which is right now Classic WoW, no expansions, as you remember it, except not exactly as you remember it. It's kind of complicated, but it's pretty close to anyways. And now they're doing that the same with Burning Crusade, so you can almost like relive going through the classic expansions. I feel like that's what they're going to do. So Burning Crusade's going to come out, and then probably Wrath of the Lich King at some point as well. Those two expansions, the first two expansions are very highly regarded and definitely loved by the fans. Certainly that's when I played back in Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. So I have no doubt that this will get another wave of people to resubscribe to WoW. And the nice thing about it too is that you don't need to pay for two different subscriptions. I mean, it's already absurd that you have to pay for one, but at least they do the good thing where if you just subscribe to WoW and you have access to both. So if whatever you want to do, you can do, which is nice. Obviously different characters and all that, but it's nice that that's there. So that's cool. That was a big announcement. As well as there was, this is probably the funniest one of the show for me, Hearthstone Classic. I thought Hearthstone only came out a few years ago, so I was pretty surprised to see a classic version of it already coming out. I'm like, wait, didn't this just come out like not too long ago? And there's definitely a theme in this show of BlizzCon where Blizzard's clearly just going through their back catalog and re-releasing things, because there's a lot of nostalgia for older games, and I guess there's maybe some nostalgia for Hearthstone. I never played it. I don't really know what's going on. I know it's still a very active game and still very new in the grand scheme of things, but so I thought it was pretty funny. As well, Overwatch 2, they talked more about, which is obviously a sequel and a bit of a different game, obviously, than the other games. They didn't actually show that in the main part of BlizzCon. It was like on a side kind of panel thing, which was interesting. But they showed a lot of what the characters are going to look like and some of the new abilities and all that, and like it looks nice. It definitely looks really nice. There's still no release date on Overwatch 2, but they did talk about that more, which was interesting. They also had a Blizzard like arcade collection, releasing some of their like very, very old games before World of Warcraft, before Warcraft even. I forgot the name of the games, but they're releasing those in a collection. And probably the biggest announcement for both of us is that Diablo 2 is getting a remake, or a remaster, I should say, or I guess a remake. What would you call it? Would you call it a remake or a remaster?
Considering they're not just up-resing it and not like mildly improving the textures, like they're completely redoing the cutscenes, they're completely redoing the graphics. Not so much where it's like a different game. It's still going to be is the term isometric? I think that's the term I'm looking for. But one of those like isometric top-down ARPGs.
Yeah, like a dungeon crawler kind of game.
Yeah,
really the genre that Diablo pioneered. So.
But it's described as the definitive remastering of the game. So I guess you can call it a remaster then. Now this was rumored for a while, well, forever really. But
yeah.
But now it's nice that it's officially announced. I think some of the biggest things for me, again, just seeing that graphics are completely remastered and new animations and blah blah blah. Cutscenes are going to be redone, which is cool. But I think the biggest thing for me, and there's two big things. One, the fact that Vicarious Visions can be behind this is very significant, because they did a really good job on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Even though I haven't played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, it looks great, and it doesn't look kind of like the failure that was Pro Skater 5. So it's nice that they kind of are handling this with care. Now, this is all just me talking. This could turn out like Warcraft 3 Reforged, but I don't think it will be, just because I'm biased. But anyway, the other big thing for me was that it's going to be coming out for PC and on consoles, and it's going to be cross play and cross progression, which is kind of crazy. And I grew up playing Diablo 2 on PC because that's all it's been for really up until when this releases later on this year. But it's kind of crazy that I've kind of gotten used to playing like Diablo 3 on console, though I kind of prefer it that way. So just the fact that I have the option to play it the way I play Diablo 3 um, is really cool and really enticing. Because as much as I love, clicking a mouse like a million times, I kind of got used to the luxury of just being able to hold down X in Diablo 3 and doing the same thing. So um, what do you think about this? I don't like my brain is just like this is all I wanted for years. Same with like the GoldenEye remaster, but this is actually coming up proper as we know right now. But how do you feel about all this?
I think it's great. Diablo 2 is, highly, highly regarded, best in the series, and, ask a lot of critics and they'll say one of the best games ever made. You can put it up there. And, it's awesome that it's coming out and that Vicarious Visions is going to be helping out with the remaster. And, we speculated that this would be why they were doing it. Way back, remember when we talked about this on Follow My Traces when they got absorbed by Blizzard? And we're like, like crap, that sucks that they're not their own studio, but I wonder if they're, going to help Blizzard with remasters. Well, here they are, right? So, makes sense. It's good that they're working on it. I don't think it'll be as bad as Reforged, because I mean, Reforged was just a mess.
Yeah.
I don't know how they could do that again. It was almost like they tried to make Reforged bad. I don't even know how they screwed that up, but this is good. Yeah, this is good news. It's not full price either, which I'm a fan of. I forget the exact price, but it's not the full price of a game. And you can also do the patented like Master Chief Collection, Halo Anniversary, Halo 2 Anniversary thing where you can like flip back and forth between the graphics on the fly, just to kind of see like how
And
it looked.
I love that. I'm so
Yeah,
nostalgic for those old graphics. I'm probably gonna be doing that quite a bit, to be honest, at
yeah,
first.
it'll just be cool and just be like, wow, look at how this looked, way back when, and look how this looks now. Like that's cool, right? I'm a fan of that. So that's a nice little touch. I'm glad that this is coming out. I haven't beat Diablo 3 yet, so maybe I should get on that and beat Diablo 3.
We should probably do that co-op too. Because
Yeah,
I still have to beat that. I'd love to start over and just
yeah,
hammer it out essentially. Like put away COD for like well, I mean it sucks that Warzone stuff's coming out because I'd love to do this now, truth be told, but with all the new Warzone stuff coming out next week and I'm sure stuff rolling out as the season changes. Or we maybe get bigger changes to Verdansk and all that.
yeah.
And Fortnite having a new season coming in under a month, like it's gonna be. I might just have to hammer it out single player, but I would love to play it. But you can sign up for a alpha test on Diablo 2's website at not sponsored, but diablo2.blizzard.com, which I will be signing up for, and we'll see what happens. It's a technical alpha, so I don't know how rough the game will be, but you can have the chance to play it.
It'll be rougher than a beta. That's all
Well,
I got.
yeah, fine.
Rougher than a beta, but that's good. Yeah, I'm excited for it, man, and it's cool that's coming out this year, so that's good. So that was pretty much everything notable from BlizzCon that I had noted, anyways. And if I missed anything, just call me out, let me know. Jim, let's talk about before we get into the Nintendo Direct. Let's talk about CD Projekt Red, as that is tradition on Follow My Tracers.
I feel like just as important as Infinite Watch. We kind of have like a CD Project Watch at this point because it seems like every week there's a different Cyberpunk story, for better or for worse. And this one's kind of on the it's still not great, but it's on the better side of that spectrum. So CD Project Red earlier this month, I think it was this month, yeah, they kind of had their code stolen for supposedly an unreleased version of Witcher 3, but also Cyberpunk and they've been taking down Twitter accounts that have been um, kind of promoting the stolen code, which is very stupid on whoever's been tweeting it out. Um, but there were two DMCA takedowns related to two different Twitter accounts last Thursday, and at least one of them contained a link to the game's source code. So
That's crazy.
I mean, this is such a stupid situation. Like, it sucks that it happened, and it sucks that I think it might have been last week I was saying maybe that like some positive will come out of this, but it just seems like again, this isn't like super negative news. They've got somebody taken down that was trying to promote the stolen code. Um, but it still sucks that there's doesn't seem like there's a clear resolution kind of in sight yet. And who knows if there will be for a while, because I don't know how to sound like a movie. I don't know how far this goes and like how long this will go on for, but yeah, that concludes our CD Project Watch, I guess.
Yeah, Something new every week, man. I remember when we talked about the code being leaked and how shitty that was. That like what is this gonna really look like? I guess we're starting to see it right, where people are just starting to leak source code on Twitter and like they're trying to take it down. But how do you stop somebody who has it from doing something, right? You almost have to set legal precedent that if you do that, you're gonna get screwed. So I wonder if there's gonna be some court case or something like that where they caught the people who did it and they can charge them absurd amounts of money or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. But yeah, always infinite with Cyberpunk, man. Also with Cyberpunk, apparently there's supposed to be a patch coming out this month. There's been no fucking news about a patch, so I don't know what's going on there. Because remember in their like timeline for Cyberpunk, they're like, okay, we're gonna do a big patch in January, a big patch in February, and then they had that big blank space in the middle, and then the next gen version at the end of the year. Well, it's February 21st as of recording. No big patch yet. No news of a patch. So I wonder if they're going to miss their own timeline here. If it's going to land in March. If they're going to delay a patch, I mean, I don't even want to get into that, but
You know what I was thinking about today too? I will be so mad if they even think about releasing the supposed upcoming multiplayer component before the single player stuff's at least like 95% there, because I don't it's not there yet.
no.
It's not really close to that yet. But if they even think about releasing the multiplayer for it before they fix the single player, I might lose all hope in CD Projekt. And I don't know. I still haven't gone back to Cyberpunk since it's probably been over a month and a half at this point. I think I don't know. I just want to wait. I just want to wait till it's funny to say it like this, but I just want to wait till it's done,
Yeah.
and then I'll actually like dive super deep and like just play that for like a month straight pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like I'm there too, man. Like, I feel like I'm just gonna wait for the next gen version at this point, which sucks because I probably didn't need to buy it right away. But yeah, like at this point in the game, like there's so many other things like games I want to play, and it's just like I can wait for Cyberpunk at this point. Kind of frustrating, but it
Hmm.
is what it is, man. Let's get over to an N64 game that leaked, right?
So back when Rare was still owned by Nintendo, they were developing an N64 game called Dinosaur Planet. And for those who don't know, Dinosaur Planet was never finished on the N64, and it ended up 2 years later coming out on the GameCube as Star Fox Adventures. So Dinosaur Planet was supposed to be its own IP, this brand new franchise, and then somewhere along the line, someone in Nintendo, I don't know if it was their president, but somebody in Nintendo had kind of interfered and said, "Well, we want a familiar face." So in the N64 version, they added Fox McCloud from Star Fox. Um, and then, as time will tell, ended up kind of becoming the main character of the game, and the whole game turned into a Star Fox game. So the ROM has been kind of long lost. No one's released it as far as I know up to this point. And it wasn't properly finished, but it is fully playable. And it was leaked. Through Illusion64, I believe is the site. But if you go on Twitter, this Twitter account is called Force of Illusion. The build is supposedly from 2000, so only a couple years off from it switching over. But um, supposedly they purchased a disc containing this build from a collector in Sweden, and the build again is from the very end of 2000. Um, there's still combat sections like in Star Fox Adventures, like or space combat sections, I should say, because they kind of shoehorn that stuff into um, the game to kind of make it feel more Star Fox. But for the most part, it does play that. I don't know if you've ever seen the game, but it does play a lot like a Legend of Zelda game. Um, it's a game I always was kind of curious about on the GameCube as well, being Star Fox Adventures, and just seeing all this stuff about Dinosaur Planet in the past always made me super curious. And I don't think I'm as excited to maybe try. Like, I think I will try this, but I'm not as excited to try this as I was for Goldeneye, obviously. But it's kind of cool that in the span of what, like a month and a half, or maybe even like a month, two kind of long lost, rare developed things, or at least rare properties, had old ROMs leaked.
Yeah, man. Keep leaking all the old games. I think it's
It's
cool.
just history. That's all. That's the way
Yeah,
I see it. It's
yeah,
just kind of history. Like
it's just
if
history.
it's just
Yep.
sitting there and it's just dormant, why not have it come out? Like,
Yeah,
but the GoldenEye thing, I don't think there's any hope of that being released commercially now. And this for sure will never be released commercially, just because it's just like it's an unfinished game essentially. But yeah, man, like bring it on. Like let all these things leak out.
yeah.
Get Donkey Kong Racing that was going to be for the GameCube. Let that come out. I don't know how far along in development that was, but that was announced on the GameCube. So
Let's
if
bring
there's
out
any
that
build of that game, let's do it.
that Halo Mega Bloks game. Remember that? I,
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
that game was like that game was almost ready. Like it just never came out, but like it was there. I'd love to see what that even looks like, man. Like imagine how many cool projects were like pretty close to being done and they got canned. And it sucks, I guess. I don't know how this works, but like it would suck if you were a dev that worked on it and the game never comes out, so you never get a bonus for it or something. Or maybe you do. I don't know. But it would kind of suck to see the game come out for free and then you never got like paid for it, I guess. Obviously they're like hopefully they're like weekly salaries and stuff would still be paid as is. But if there's like a bonus tied to the game and the game never comes out and then fans play it anyways, I could see that being a bit of a piss off, maybe, if you look at it that way. But I'm reaching. I have no idea how that works. I don't work in games,
Yeah.
you know?
It's a great website for people who are curious about anything about unreleased games. Again, not sponsored because the site's been around forever. But if you go to Unseen64, that's UNSEEN 64.net. It's a great website where you can look at a bunch of stuff like this. And Dinosaur Planet is an article on there, so you can read more about it.
Very cool.
I go on this site quite a bit, so
Very cool.
cool.
Let's jump into the main topic, which is the Nintendo Direct. So I'm gonna set the stage here. We're gonna set the table. All right. Nintendo hasn't had a Nintendo Direct since September 2019. So a couple months before that's like how many months before the pandemic hit in March? September, October, November, December, January. Yeah,
5?
like 5 or 6 months.
6? Yeah.
Yeah, so and then the pandemic hit obviously, and they didn't do anything for all of 2020. No, I shouldn't say they didn't do anything. They did some like mini directs, right, where they focused on indie games, or they only focused on Animal Crossing, or they only focused on Super Smash Bros. Or something. But they didn't do a big Nintendo like direct where they talked about kind of everything. So this Nintendo Direct, when they announced it was going to happen earlier in the week, it was incredibly hyped. Because people were like, "Oh my God, Nintendo hasn't talked for so long. They probably have so much to announce." We're probably going to hear about Breath of the Wild 2. We're probably going to hear about Metroid. Like everyone was going crazy with speculation because Nintendo kind of did it to themselves, where they didn't talk for so long that they let the conversation get away, and then people kind of just drew their own conclusions, right? So that's the table. People were very hyped. I was very hyped about it personally. I thought Nintendo was going to drop some bombs, and I guess they kind of did in some ways. But let's just go through the announcements, okay? So one of the first things they kind of mentioned before the direct even happened was that they were going to talk about Super Smash Bros. And everyone's like, okay, so they're going to reveal a new character. Cool. Speculation running wild. Oh shit, is it Master Chief? Oh shit, is it like insert your favorite video game character here, right? Turns out it is Xenoblade Chronicle 2's Pyra, which, I mean, it makes sense. I never played Xenoblade Chronicles. Obviously, the game is on Nintendo. It makes sense. It makes sense that there's a character from that coming into Smash. I have no idea who this is. I think the general consensus among the broader gaming community that announcement was a letdown. That they were like, oh crap. Like everyone thought it was going to be some big cool announcement like Banjo and Kazooie was when that happened. But nope, it was some random person from Xenoblade Chronicles. And I shouldn't say random. I don't want to discredit it because I'm sure it's very, very cool for fans of the series, but it certainly didn't mean much to me, and I think it also did not resonate with a lot of other people.
I had no clue who they were. So
Yeah, I mean, neither did I. Neither did I.
it wasn't until the end when I was watching it with my fiance, and at the very end when they show, I guess it's the actual Xenoblade. She
Yeah,
was like, "Oh, they're from Xenoblade." I was like, "Oh," so I watched this for like a few minutes. I had no clue what it was supposed to be, and I was like, "Oh, Xenoblade!" Like, oh, cool. Not that that's a bad thing. Like you were saying, this game has a ton of fans,
ton of
and
fans. Yeah,
this will make a lot of people happy. I just like you're saying in the broad spectrum of people that consume these games, I'm sure a lot of people had absolutely no clue.
yeah, and that's unfortunate. But it's a good announcement, and they're gonna keep adding new characters to Smash. So it's not like this is the last one and it's all over. They're gonna keep milking that franchise. So we're gonna get some more characters soon, I'm sure. Um, another big announcement I'll say is that Fall Guys was announced for the Switch. Finally, this was super long overdue, and I think that this had to do with some kind of exclusivity deal with Sony, where PlayStation had the game exclusively on their platform for X number of months. So Nintendo was able to announce that Fall Guys is coming out for the Switch, and that's coming in summer 2021. And I guess piggyback off of that, Xbox and Fall Guys also confirmed on Twitter the next day that it is also coming to Xbox in the summer. So it's coming everywhere in the summer, which is great. That's exciting. Fall Guys is a ton of fun. I think I'll probably play it more now that it's on console, or now that it will be on console. Because it'll just be easier to jump in and play, in my opinion. So that'll be a good time. I'm hoping that there's cross progression, because I don't want to have to like lose everything I've already done. You know, that would suck.
Yeah, I've got quite a bit of stuff unlocked too, so I don't really want to lose that either.
No, I wouldn't hate if it wasn't, but like at this point, come on guys, it's 2021. Cross play, cross progression, cross save, like cross buy, like all of this should be a thing. So hopefully, I don't expect cross buy, to be a thing, but yeah, hopefully cross play and cross progression to start would be very nice. So hopefully we'll get some news on that later on, but that's a big announcement. I mean, Fall Guys was the big announcement, the biggest game of the summer. We certainly played it, and it still has an active community. It's not as large as it once was, but it's still very big in the grand scheme of things. And I'm sure that the game coming to Switch, which obviously the Switch is a child-focused console, if you think about it, that game's going to do very well there. And who knows, maybe this game comes to Game Pass, which would be massive, right? That would be huge.
I'd be super happy, man.
Yeah, that'd be insane. I'm sure that they want to put it on Game Pass. And remember that Fall Guys was a PlayStation Plus game when it first came out. So a lot of people on PlayStation didn't even have to pay for it. So I think there's a precedent set there that Fall Guys will want to expand the player base as large and as big as they can. And Game Pass is a great way to do that. You don't necessarily even have to do a Games with Gold, just do Game Pass. So yeah. We'll see what happens there. They haven't announced anything yet. There was a rumor, it must have been a month ago, there was some talk on Twitter about Fall Guys coming to Game Pass, and they shut it down saying there are no plans currently, but they probably couldn't talk about it back then. So we'll have to see if they kind of go back on that. Outer Wilds is coming to the Switch, summer 2021. That was a big game when it came out. Not Outer Worlds, not to be confused with that game. Outer Wilds, it's kind of like an indie game. Famicom Detective Club, May 14th, sure. Samurai Warriors 5, sure, summer 2021. Legend of Mana Remastered, that's a game I've heard a lot about. It's an older game, but I think Beloved, that's coming out June 24th. Monster Hunter
That's what I'm excited
Rise,
for too.
Which is a big one as well. Monster Hunter is a massive, massive franchise. Millions of fans all over the world, and really that franchise has been growing in popularity for a long time now. So that's going to be big on the Switch. That's exclusively on the Switch as well, that Monster Hunter Rise game. That's coming out March 26th. So that's coming out very soon. And probably the biggest announcement for me is Mario Golf Super Rush. I love the old Mario Golf games, and actually a lot of the Mario sports games, like what was the baseball, Super Sluggers?
Yep.
And then there was Strikers, obviously, and Strikers Charged, which are two of my favorite games. Those are so awesome. And Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, all good stuff. And yeah, Mario Golf is looking great, this new one. And they have this new mode called Speed Golf, which I'm hoping that's online with friends. I hope that's not just local couch, because that looks like a ton of fun. I can see us really having a good time with that.
Big time.
Right? But that's going to be cool. That's a big announcement. That's coming out June 25th. Tales from the Borderlands, which I thought was already on the Switch. I didn't even realize it wasn't. That's coming out March 24th, my birthday. That's a great game, Tales from the Borderlands. I'm not sure if you ever completed it, Jim.
I've played through, I think, 2 full episodes of that, but I never beat it, no.
I highly encourage that you dedicate a couple hours to finish it, man. Even if you just start from the beginning again, because that's probably my favorite Telltale game. Even more so than the Walking Dead ones. It's really, really good. I went on. It's funny. It kind of got. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
This Canadian standoff. I kind of went on a Telltale binge. It must have been it wasn't last summer. It might have been the summer before or the summer before that. So it was a while ago where I kind of went through I went through The Walking Dead, and I went through Wolf Among Us, which is another really, really good one. I went through Tales from Borderlands. I didn't do the Batman or the Game of Thrones, but yeah, Tales from Borderlands is awesome. Your turn.
Batman. I didn't play the second season of Batman, but I played the first one. Excellent. I would recommend that one.
Okay.
But seeing the Tales of the Borderlands or Tales from the Borderlands announcement, it got me to reinstall Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel because I already had 3 installed. But I kind of want to go through these games because I know I already got enough to beat as it is. But with Borderlands, all I ever heard was Borderlands 2 is like the best one out of all of them. And I know you've played it. And other people we used to hang out with have played it for sure. And I don't know why I never got around to it, but it kind of got me thinking like maybe I should play it because I know the pre-sequels, it's fine, don't get me wrong, but 2, all I kept hearing about 2 was like that's if you're gonna play 1, that should be it. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like I mean, why not? I'll do it.
Even to this day,
I've owned the handsome question forever.
With Borderlands 3 out, people still say 2 is the best. And funny enough, like I played a ton of Borderlands 1. Like I did everything you could do on Borderlands 1. I loved it. And I did Borderlands 1 pretty much entirely solo as well. I don't know what it was. I was in high school. I don't know. But I played the shit out of Borderlands 1. Borderlands 2, I actually never really gave it a fair shake for whatever reason. So that's another game I agree. I would like to go through Borderlands 2. Maybe we can do that together at some point as well.
Do you own the handsome collection or no?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I think Harley does too.
Yeah, I think
if
we
you
all
wanted
have
to
it.
play it.
I think we all have it.
Yeah, apparently it's got the best writing and characters and everything. So like, cool. Like I'm game. Why not?
Another game we could play. Add it to the pile.
It also, if you remember when Borderlands 3 was coming out, it had that free expansion years after it came out that ties it into Borderlands 3.
Yeah,
so
I forgot about that.
So that's another reason to play it. So there you go.
Yeah, very cool. Capcom Arcade Stadium, just some classic Capcom games available today. So available when the show happened on the 17th. This is a weird one. Stubbs the Zombie, which is a OG Xbox game developed by Rare. Coming out March 16th on the Switch. And interesting fact, Stubbs the Zombie is the only non-Halo game to use the Halo engine. So
interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, a little factoid there. It uses the Halo CE engine. So that's coming out on Switch on the 16th. Thought that was a really weird one, but yeah, it's coming to the Switch for some reason. No More Heroes 3 coming out August 27th. I know that game has a lot of fans. Neon White Winter 2021. No idea.
I got no clue either.
There's a lot of these. I'm like, okay, next. DC Superhero Girls Teen Power, June 4th.
Sure.
They dedicated like 3 or 4 minutes to this game during the show, man. I was just like face palming the entire time. Like, this is great. I'm sure there's a lot of young girls that really want to play this, and that's awesome. More power. But why are you dedicating so much time to this game right now? It was at this point it was at this point in the show I knew that Nintendo didn't have an ace up their sleeve because they gave this game like 4 minutes. And I'm like, oh no, they're stalling for time. Plants vs. Zombies complete. So I guess it's just the Plants vs. Zombies games are coming on March 19th to the Switch, and I think that really has to do with the battle for the neighborhood and like those games that came out afterwards. It's kind of like the multiplayer Plants vs. Zombies where it's like more like a shooter. So that's coming out on March 19th to the Switch. That makes sense.
Very nice.
There's a game called Miitopia coming out May 21st, and it looks like Habbo Hotel but for Mii's. So that's funny. Animal Crossing Mario 35th anniversary items. So there's a Mario 35th anniversary update for Animal Crossing. That's coming out February 25th, so in this next week. Animal Crossing has been updated a ton of times since it came out almost a year ago today. It seems like every few months they do a big update for Animal Crossing, which makes sense because they've sold over 32 million copies in less than a year, so they're just going to keep supporting that game. There's a game called Projekt Triangle Strategy. It's a working title. It's coming out in 2022, and it looks very much like the sequel to Octopath Traveler, if you remember that, Jim.
Kind of. Never played it, but I am aware of it.
Do you kind of remember what it was about, though? It was like classic Final Fantasy, but it was like really beautiful, but it was still like 8-bit, or 16-bit, whatever it is. But
yeah, I know it is.
Yeah. So it looks like a sequel to that in a lot of ways, or at least looks very much like that game. So that's cool. I thought that was a cool announcement. What the hell does Project Triangle Strategy mean? I don't know. Um, Star Wars Hunters coming out 2021, free to play.
I did perk up when I saw that. Not because it's Star Wars. Well,
Well,
mainly
yes,
that,
because
but
it's Star
because
Wars.
I had no clue it was even a thing until the Nintendo Direct, which is always I feel like when it comes to events, especially like E3 or oh, what's the one that uh
Gamescom?
Tokyo Game Show
Oh, Tokyo Game
yeah, and
Show.
Gamescom
Yeah.
like stuff like that. Anything that's like a surprise, I love, and like this was a total surprise for me. It's cool that it's what a squad based uh multiplayer game.
I have no
I don't
idea
know
what
if
it is.
I don't think it's a battle royale. I feel like they would have said that outright if it was, but
Yeah, they didn't really show
um,
any gameplay or anything though. It's just like a weird trailer. So
yeah. So I mean, cool. I mean, it's going to be out this year. So yeah,
yeah,
I guess we'll wait and see what it's about.
we'll wait and see. It's free to play though, so it doesn't hurt to try. And it's Star Wars,
It's
so
I
hopefully
think
it's
it
good.
might just be the Switch too. I don't know if it's on anything else.
Yeah, it might at least start on the Switch and then come to other things. We'll see.
I'm gonna check it out
Usually
here.
Star Wars isn't platform exclusive because it's Star Wars and they want it to be on everything, but we'll see.
Apparently,
Knock it.
it is
Sorry.
just the Switch right now.
Oh,
Apparently, it's just the
Switch.
Switch.
Okay, so we'll have to see if that maybe it's timed or maybe it will just be just Switch. I don't know.
It will require, or it does not require a Nintendo Switch Online membership to download and play. So there you go.
Yeah, I think it's similar to Fortnite in that sense, where you don't need Nintendo Switch Online to play a free to play game. So,
Beautiful.
uh, Xbox Live was the only one that needed it up until well, actually, I think you still do because they haven't said that restriction's gone, but they are removing it. This was a bit of an interesting one. Knockout City coming out May 21st. This looked like a open world arena-ish dodgeball game to me. Looks kind of interesting. I think it's gonna be dead in the water, unfortunately, but looks kind of cool. You and some friends, you like hop around and you hit the other team with dodgeballs, and you can throw that, you can pass the ball, and I'm explaining it really poorly. Go watch the trailer if you're interested. Looked interesting. I don't think it's really gonna have any legs, unfortunately, even though it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Why not?
Well, if it's free, I don't know if it's free. I don't know if
Yeah,
I pay.
that'd be
You know?
that'd be the kicker. It does look nice though. I'm
Yeah,
just kind of watching the gameplay trailer as like we're talking. It
yeah,
does look cool. The only other thing I can say about it is there's a lot of games that have unique people, like unique heroes,
yeah.
and this it's not. I don't want to say cell shaded, but the more cartoony kind of look. So I think you're right. It might, or maybe it is cell shaded, but I think unless it's like super fun and super unique, I think I kind of agree. I don't know how big of a player base it'll have for how long, but
Yeah, I guess we'll
we'll
have to just
see.
wait and see. Yeah. World's End Club, May 28th. Hades is getting a physical release on March 19th for the Switch. Hades obviously blew up last year, won a ton of awards. Still waiting for Hades on Xbox. That's where I want to play it. But hopefully
Is
that'll
it going to
happen
be
at
coming
some
to
point.
Xbox, or we don't know?
We don't know yet, but it's not like a platform exclusive game, if you know what I mean. It's on PC, it's on Switch. I think they're just a very small team and haven't had the manpower to put it on anything else yet. But we'll see. Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, June 10th. And important to note, that's also coming to Xbox and PlayStation. But
Very cool.
yeah, it's cool. It doesn't include the best Ninja Gaiden, in my opinion, which is Ninja Gaiden Black. But Ninja Gaiden 1, 2, and 3 are on it. And then Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. It's getting some expansion pass content later in 2021. And that game you've been playing a ton of, Jim. And yeah, it's great, right?
I highly recommend it. I don't normally play, I shouldn't say that. I don't normally enjoy games like that where it's big hack and slash, which is kind of weird to say because I love Diablo, but games like Dynasty Warriors, I'll say I don't enjoy those games a whole lot, but I don't know, Age of Calamity, just the fact that it ties into because there was another Hyrule Warriors game I didn't really care for in the same
Yeah.
very similar style, but this one I don't know, something feels different about it. I quite like it. I mean, they're all the reviews show, so
Yeah.
I would highly recommend it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see what ends up coming to this expansion pass.
Yeah. It's more Zelda stuff on Zelda's 35th anniversary, which we're going to get into a bit more. And that's actually today, the 35th anniversary of Zelda. Bravely Default 2, which is a bigger exclusive coming to the Switch. is coming out on February 26th, which is like this week. So that's cool. That's going to be a big one for the Switch, I think. A lot of people are going to like it. Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection, February 25th. I don't know what that game is.
Maybe just like a remaster or a remake or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it is, but that like I don't know. Like you can see a bit of a theme here where there's a lot of just like announcements here, And I'm sure that there's going to be fans and people are going to like it, but no bombs have really been dropped yet, right? Except for maybe
No,
Mario
not yet.
Golf at this point. So then we have Saga Frontier Remasters. That's later in 2021. Apex Legends is coming to the Switch later in 2021, which that's a biggish announcement. It's cool that they got the game to run on the Switch, so I'm interested to see how that's going to perform and look like. But that'll be good, I think.
That'd be pretty cool. It's
Yeah,
a popular enough game. It makes sense that it's on every platform. And I mean, if the Switch can run Doom Eternal in some way, or Doom 2016 at least,
yeah,
I I mean, it could run most things, I guess, in my head. But no, it's pretty cool. I've always been like wanting to get back into Apex. I think the last time we played was like season 2. And I think they're on like what, season 8 now. So
yeah. I played a little bit a couple seasons ago and I had fun with it. But it's a big download, and it's interesting. It's one of the there's been a ton of battle royales and different games to try to come out in recent years and really break through. Because right now the holy trinity of battle royales, if you want to call it that, is PUBG, still big, still very big. Don't get yourself fooled. Big PC player base. Fortnite and Warzone, right? And Warzone just came out a year ago. And Apex, which actually I guess came out before Warzone, did find its way and it broke in, right? It was massive when it came out. It was the biggest thing when it came out for a month or two. Support kind of waned off, but it still has a very big population. It managed to keep its players, which a lot of games have failed to do. Like Hyperscape. Remember how we played Hyperscape for a little bit? That game's dead in the water now. No one's talking about Hyperscape.
no,
Like
dime a dozen.
there's a lot of games that came out and tried to take some market share and kind of failed. And Apex was one of them that did so. Not did so. Sorry, they came in and they succeeded, right? So that'll be cool to see it come to the Switch. It's just going to grow the player base. Hopefully, it performs well.
I think I will re-download Apex after the show, to be honest.
It's a big
I think
download.
I am. Yeah, it's like
It's like 90
it's like
gigs.
a full game.
Yeah, it's big. But I mean, I
I got
like to
like
play
2
it too.
terabytes to play with, so
Yeah,
I'm
that's
all
fair.
good.
That's fair. So then we get into they start to talk about Zelda, which everyone was like, oh, 35th anniversary, here we go, they're gonna do something. And they announced Skyward Sword HD, which, you know what, I think people were kind of expecting, because that was the only I guess modern Zelda game to not have an HD remaster. Obviously Wind Waker and Twilight Princess got the treatment on the Wii U, so they announced that it's going to be a full price game, which I was like, whoa. But I mean, it's Zelda, so people are going to buy it either way. Nintendo knows that. So that's coming out July 16th. It also has some cool matching Joy-Cons that you can buy if you're interested. And they look actually really nice. Skyward Sword, probably, if I had to pick a Zelda game I would never want to really play, it's probably that one. I don't know. I'm not interested at all in Skyward Sword. It looked like a very generic vanilla Zelda game that really just had baked in motion controls for the sake of it. Because it obviously came out on the Wii way back when, right? So, and I think a lot of other people, from what I've kind of read online, they're kind of like, cool. I don't know if I'm really going to go back and play it, or if I am, like, I don't know. I'd rather be playing Twilight Princess or Wind Waker or Breath of the Wild 2. And they do mention Breath of the Wild 2 here, and that was the first thing that the guy said when he came out. And he's like, I know that a lot of you said, a lot of you see me and you think I'm going to talk about Breath of the Wild 2 news. Unfortunately, you have to wait a little bit later, and they do confirm that there will be some news on Breath of the Wild 2 coming later this year, which they announced a few years ago. So it's good to know that that's coming out. That's probably the biggest piece of news that came out of this, in my opinion, is that they're finally going to talk about Breath of the Wild 2 later this year.
Yeah, because how long ago was that initial trailer?
Oh,
Was it 2 years ago now?
I think it was 20. I think it was the same year the Switch came out, 2017, because the Switch came out in March, and I think that this was later in the year, or maybe it was 2018. I forget, but either way, it was very shortly after the Breath of the Wild came out, and Yeah, Nintendo put out the trailer saying that there's a sequel coming, and they haven't talked about it since. But they're going to talk about it this year. Um, I think the very surprising thing here, and this is certainly the outroar that's kind of been on social media since the Nintendo Direct, is that very surprisingly, Nintendo did not announce Twilight Princess HD or Wind Waker HD, which are games that are just, they could just be Wii U ports like they've been porting all the other Wii U games. They didn't announce it. They didn't announce it for the Switch, and it's Zelda's
Super
35th
disappointing.
anniversary. Like, it's out of all the times to put it out, makes sense now. There are some people who think it's still going to come out later this year, and maybe it's going to be a surprise drop. Maybe at E3, Nintendo will have a direct, and they'll announce it then. But I was very surprised that they didn't do anything. And some people were saying, "Oh, they're gonna announce that on the actual date, Sunday," and here we are, and they did not do that. I didn't see any buzz about anything. So I don't know. What do you think about all this Zelda stuff, man?
So with going back a bit with Skyward Sword, it's the only Zelda game, mainline Zelda game I have not played. I'm not interested in playing it either, to be fair.
Yeah,
I know it was either IGN or GameSpot gave it a 10 when it first came out, and I thought, oh, okay, cool. It's apparently it's amazing. And then seeing other reviews on major websites, and they were like 7s and 8s. I was like,
yeah,
oh, I was like, well, I mean, Zelda's kind of one of those games where it's an easy 10 to give on a review site. But regardless, my big point of contention with not having Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on the Switch is, you'll port every Mario 3D game under the sun onto the Switch,
yeah.
but for some reason with Zelda, hold on, let's go back. So you have the newly released Mario World 3D,
Yep,
which was a Wii U game. You have Super Mario Bros. U, I think it
yep,
was called, which
yep,
was again a Wii U game. You just had Mario Galaxy, Sunshine, and 64 all in one package. You have Mario Kart 8 ported. But with Zelda, all we have is Breath of the Wild. In terms of traditional Zelda games, all we have is Breath of the Wild, really. Like, we don't have Wind Waker HD. We don't have Twilight Princess. And I even put Skyward Sword in there as of right now, just because like these things probably should have come sooner. Like, they're easy money
yeah.
makers. I don't. And to kind of go on another tangent, where's Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Switch? That would be a big seller too. So
Where's Metroid
I
Prime
don't.
4? They announced that
Yeah.
before the Switch came out.
So
What's going on?
my point being, I feel like it's kind of weird that they're not there. I mean, maybe there's some business decisions that they thought, well, Mario is obviously like the face of Nintendo essentially, so I could see why they want to port as many games from him as possible. But just the fact that, like, I would consider Zelda like the second or third face of Nintendo anyway. I
Oh,
don't know
it's the
who.
second.
So like, I don't
Well,
understand why it's not getting the
mhm.
same kind of attention.
I guess you could say
Do you know what I mean?
Pokemon, but Pokemon isn't Nintendo. It's Pokemon, but they only come out on Nintendo. But anyway, that's the other thing. But anyways,
But yeah, so like I would easily, this is just speaking from my point of view, and I'm thinking a lot of other people too. Even if they just released, because I know when Twilight Princess HD came out, it wasn't like, no, I might be speaking out of turn, but from my point of view, it wasn't as big of a deal as when like Wind Waker HD came out. So like, even if these just came out digitally, I don't think I'd want them to do the limited run thing that they're doing with like Mario 3D All Stars.
yeah,
But
that's scummy.
even if they just came out digitally, like, you don't have to do physical sales for Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. Like, just the fact that they'd be out would be, super cool. So it's kind of weird that they're not out. I mean, I would totally buy them full price, especially Wind Waker. That's a game I love.
Well,
But
and I think you just said it right there, and I think a lot of other Nintendo fans and Zelda fans would absolutely pay full price for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess again. Whereas Skyward Sword, it's great that it's there now because it was the only Zelda game that didn't have or at least the only modern Zelda game that didn't have an HD remake yet. So that's great. But
maybe I'm wrong and like not playing it. And I mean, it didn't look totally appealing to me. I know like a friend of ours was really into it when it came out.
yeah,
But I don't know how well it holds up now, especially with Breath of the Wild kind of setting like a new standard for Zelda games. So if I go back and play Skyward Sword, am I going to feel it's super dated? Am I going to feel like it's not nearly as fun just because Breath of the Wild, from the 10 or so hours I played, was awesome. And I know it's like your favorite Zelda game.
oh yeah,
So, and you know what? I think I will loop Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity kind of in with the good modern Zelda games. I feel weird about excluding it before, but regardless, point being, like Mario had a bigger, not a huge, I will say, but it had a much bigger buzz for its 35th anniversary. And like you said, today's the actual day. So if not today, maybe something this week. But if there's nothing this week, I don't know what this big deal about them having their big 35th, anniversary special would be all about.
Yeah, it's
It's really weird.
it's weird, man. And like, let's even just talk about Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, which are two of the most beloved games of all time. Don't even just say Zelda, beloved games of all time. And like, they got HD, I guess, remasters on the 3DS, but nothing since then. This is
That's super weird too
it's
to me.
it's so weird that Nintendo just has this incredible backlog where they could just release their stuff forever and never make a new game and print money, and they just refuse to do so. And I just don't get it. Like, put these games out, like the Wii U ports. They're already there. You've ported a bunch of Wii U games before, so we know it can be done. I hope that those still come out this year, and I really hope that Ocarina and Majora's make it in some fashion as well at some point.
Yeah,
But
like especially since the 3DS isn't in production anymore. Like you can't really, rely on, I guess, those versions. And even though there's still probably a zillion copies floating around, you can find them very easily or get them digitally. But just the
oh yeah, you can
fact
still buy
that
them.
like the 3DS isn't, like their main focus anymore. I guess Kirby's Epic Yarn was like the last 3DS game to be released, and that was a few years ago now, or a couple years ago. And that's a port of a Wii game. So I think they would benefit very greatly. I mean, they did it with, Mario 64 and Sunshine, and I guess Galaxy to a certain extent if you want to include that in there. Why can't you have Ocarina and Majora's Mask in like a 2-pack? I
Yeah.
mean, you could sell those full price, no problem. It'd
Oh
be
yeah.
really, I don't know if I'd, no, I probably would. Who am I talking? But they do that, like do stuff like that, like especially since, again, you have the 35th anniversary, which is a significant anniversary for arguably your second most famous franchise that's like born in house.
Yeah.
And we have a game that, as it got its perfect reviews and whatnot, but in terms of the mainline Zelda games, it's kind of near the bottom. And I understand it was the only one without the port, like you were saying earlier, but I don't know. I'm also speaking from like a not I don't want to say a casual view. I'm speaking as like a fan. And as a fan, I think I would have rather seen something else. But, to make the glass half full and not half empty, it is cool that we're getting another mainline Zelda game on a console that's easily accessible now. Because I don't know how easy it'll be to find Wii copies anymore. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Well, kind of like
It's
the title
weird.
of the episode. Like that was it. Like
Yeah.
I don't
It
understand.
didn't really
So
feel like a celebration. It was just like, oh, okay, that's all you're doing. Interesting. Like, I don't know. I feel like there has to be more at some point this year, and I guess time will tell. But
hopefully this week we get something.
yeah, hopefully this week, or maybe again, maybe around E3 time, Nintendo has their direct and they say, "Great news, everyone! Like the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD are now on the Switch, and whatever." Like that'd make fans happy. I would really love for them to go the extra mile and do Majora's and Ocarina though, but we'll see. Um, and here was the last announcement from the Nintendo Direct, and this was supposed to be the one more thing, the bomb drop, right? And it was Splatoon 3. I'm just gonna let that simmer for a second. Splatoon 3. Now, nothing against Splatoon. It has millions of fans. It's one of Nintendo's newest franchises and also biggest franchises. It sells a lot of copies. They're very highly regarded. But we have had 3 Splatoon games in the span of like 8 years versus one Zelda game, one Mario game. No Metroid games. Like, it's just kind of frustrating to me. It's like, okay, this is great that this is coming out, guys, but and I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of fans very, very excited about this. Maybe I'll even pick it up. Who knows? But it was just interesting to me that this was. I think that no matter what came after Zelda, after the disappointment that was that Zelda 35th anniversary announcement, and no Metroid and none of that stuff, like, I think that anything that was going to come after that was kind of going to be like Just like, oh, really? That's all you have? Because I don't know. It's kind of set up that way. I'm sure this is going to be great, but I don't know, man. It's a little bit frustrating as a Nintendo fan to see this Splatoon continue to get so much love, and for other franchises that are even bigger than Splatoon, just like I don't know, feel like they're not like not regarded. I don't know. Like, where's Metroid Prime 4? I understand they stopped developing that and they kind of started from scratch a few years ago. And where's the Metroid Prime Trilogy HD collection? Like, where's Star Fox? You know, and I
Yeah,
think
that's a good question. Where's Star Fox in all of
where's
this?
Star Fox? Like, there's
Jeez.
so many Nintendo franchises. Now, I think that one thing's going to be, and we'll have to see this week. Because there's another Nintendo thing happening this week. Nintendo, not Nintendo. It's Pokemon's 25th anniversary this week, so they're having a big thing on Pokemon Day, which is their anniversary day. They're gonna have a big live stream. Apparently, Post Malone made a song or something. I don't know, but
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, hopefully that's good. That'd be kind of fun. But everyone's thinking that for the Pokemon 20th anniversary, there's gonna be some kind of announcement, whether it's a new Pokemon game, whether it's remasters of the old games, whether people are thinking maybe a Diamond and Pearl remake. We'll see. I think that could make me a little bit less sour at Nintendo right now. And I'm not saying I'm pissed at them because I'm really not. I just counted it. They announced 30 things in this direct, that's a lot, right? 30 things in 50 minutes. But it just wasn't what people were looking for. And I think after waiting for so long, September 2019, for a big Nintendo show, and we finally get it, and the bomb drop was Splatoon 3. And it just kind of it doesn't sit right with me, man. I don't know. How do you feel?
Maybe we're in the wrong because I did buy Splatoon 2 around when it came out. Not brand new, but like pretty soon after it came out. And like I did play, I'd have to look at the Switch's like
It
activity
looks fun,
log,
man.
but
I'm not gonna say it
I
doesn't
bet
look
you I played
fun.
like 8 hours. Like it's very fun, but the only thing I can think of with Nintendo kind of making this kind of their big reveal or kind of, pushing like they're really pushing Splatoon. I wouldn't say ahead of their more famous franchises, but like I kind of view it like this. Like maybe Nintendo's thinking, um, I like relate this to like craft breweries and like big beer companies. So you take your local craft brewery, which is like our Splatoons, let's say, and it's picking up a lot of momentum. And games like Zelda, Mario, especially stuff like that. Like your Budweisers of the world, like they've made their money, and they don't need any more money. They don't need much more attention. They still make a ton of money, but maybe Nintendo is trying to push Splatoon because maybe that's what they're trying to aim to be like the next like Ink Girl or whatever they're called, Inkling, trying to make it the next big mascot, which I
Oh,
guess it is in a
100%.
way for the Switch especially.
That's
But
absolutely what they're doing, man. And Splatoon
like,
is, I think it's a little different for us because it's not as big in North America. It's massive in Japan. Splatoon.
oh,
It's
I can imagine.
huge. It's huge there. So like I get it. Splatoon 3 is a big announcement. I'm not trying to underplay that, but it's just not what people were looking for. You know?
And it's gonna sell like hotcakes, and we're
Oh
in the
yeah.
wrong for being disappointed, probably. But
It's
I don't know.
and I don't want to sound like game angry gamers on the internet. Like we got 30 things in this direct. Like that's a lot. There were certainly a lot of announcements. It's just kind of disappointing that it wasn't really the celebration that Zelda deserves, in my opinion. And there's still games that have been announced for a long time. Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4, prime examples that we still don't know anything about, which is kind of frustrating. At least we're getting Breath of the Wild 2 news later this year. At least we know that now. So we have something in our head. Um, and then we have Splatoon, which continues just to get, lots of, because Splatoon 2 came out. It wasn't a launch title for the Switch, but it was close, right? I
Yeah,
think it was
I got it
close.
after I moved out, and that would be almost 3 years ago. So
Yeah,
it's come out within the last few years anyway. And the Switch has only been out since 2017.
yeah, 2017.
So
Yeah, we'll have to see, man. I still think that there's some kind of Switch Pro that's going to get released, or updated Switch, and maybe that's when we see Metroid Prime and Breath of the Wild 2 come out because they need the more powerful hardware or something. I don't know, but maybe not. Nintendo wouldn't want to alienate the player base. Though I guess they have done that before with the new 3DS thing. Remember that? There was games on the new 3DS that you had to play on it.
yeah, with the little nub for
Yeah,
the right thumbstick or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They did that before, so I wondered if they would do that again with the Switch. Interesting. We'll have to see. But that was the Nintendo Direct, man. Overall, some good announcements. A couple highlights for me. Mario Golf. That's great. Project Triangle Strategy looks very interesting. The Animal Crossing update's big. Hyrule Warriors expansion pass. That's good. Skyward Sword HD. As much as we harped on it, that's a good thing. I think. I think Splatoon 3 is still a good announcement. So a couple big things in there, right? It's just I think it was just overall underwhelming given how long we've waited, and I think that could have been curbed really easily by just saying, "Here's Twilight Princess HD and Wind Waker." I don't know. Closing
Even if
thoughts
they
for
would have
you?
just shown like show us anything from Metroid Prime 4, because all we got was that initial teaser and then the announcement that they
Yeah.
completely
All,
scrapped
all,
what they
all we
had and
got
started
was
over.
the it wasn't even anything. It was just Metroid Prime 4, the name across the screen.
Yeah.
We didn't get any
So
gameplay or any cinematics,
I
anything like
don't
that.
know. And with Breath of the Wild 2, we had that. It's an awesome teaser. Don't get me wrong, but just the teaser for the last like couple or few years, whatever, however long it's been, um, just show us something, even if it's just like rough gameplay or concept art or just something. Like let's see something, significant that relates to the progress of this game instead of later this year you'll get some news, and later this year the news might just be, oh, it's going to be delayed, or oh, we're going to need this, and then like we still won't see anything. I don't know. I'm being negative just because it's it's
Ah,
underwhelming, this whole thing,
I'm
but
trying not to be
I
negative because I don't want to
I
leave it
know
on a negative space, but it's yeah. I think underwhelming is the right word. That's all.
they should have saved the Zelda stuff for last. Like, even though Skyward Sword's again not the most hailed Zelda game in the fan base, that still should have been the last announcement, considering it's the anniversary. As
Yeah,
big as Splatoon 2 is outside of our country, and continent for that matter, that stuff should have been second from the top because it's still significant. It's still like the last few things you mentioned.
yeah, yeah.
But I think maybe Zelda kind of got the short end of the stick in terms of what Mario got for his anniversary. I don't know in terms of like, I don't, because you're more akeen to this than I am, or attuned, but when Mario had his 35th anniversary and all those announcements, how big of a hubbub was it compared to this for Zelda?
Oh, Mario got way more love.
So, like case in point, it sucks that Zelda's not getting the same love, but it's still the beginning of the week, and maybe they'll turn this into anniversary week instead of just, I saw an Instagram post earlier about that today was the release of the 35th anniversary of the first Zelda game,
Yeah,
and that's all I've seen today for that. So I don't know.
yeah. Nintendo
Time
wouldn't
will
announce
tell.
anything on a Sunday, so yeah, maybe we'll see some stuff early this week. Hopefully we do. Um, I'm kind of skeptical though because I think Nintendo's gonna want to let Pokemon own the week. We'll see.
When is Pokemon Day actually?
I think it's the 27th.
Okay, so we still got time. So
Yeah,
I can see them doing that too.
I don't know. We'll see. Um, but overall, big direct, lots of things. Unfortunately, not the things we were really looking for. But I'm looking forward to Mario Golf. I mean, that hopefully the speed golf is is multiplayer online because yeah, I'll totally get it for that.
Yeah, I hope so too. That looks insanely fun.
Yeah, and for people who haven't seen the trailer, go watch the trailer. But basically, it's a game of golf, and you have a couple. I think you can have up to 4 people on the course. But instead of like waiting for your turn to hit the ball, everyone just golfs at the same time. And the goal is to get to the hole as fast as you can, but also in as few strokes as you can do it. And you can also you can like run over other players, and you can like Bowser can like pick up somebody and like throw him. Like it's like a I don't know. It's like a golf battle royale. I don't even know how to describe it, but it looks like a lot of fun. It just looks like chaos, and it adds like a new layer to. They could have just released Mario Golf, and it could have just been a regular golf game, and that would have been great. But this seems like it could be a lot of fun and like a refreshing take on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm actually excited for it, and I think the last time I played a Mario Golf game was on the N64. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they kind of got my $80 ahead of time. So
Yeah.
perfect.
They can. That's what Nintendo does. Charge full price for games. They never go on sale. But that's all I got for Nintendo Direct. Like we said, we'll have to see what happens later this week for Zelda if they do anything else, or maybe even later in the summer they'll kind of correct it. But um, yeah, I think in summary, that was it. unfortunately.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
a
it.
thing.
It was a thing. It happened. There were some cool announcements, but it wasn't really where it needed to be, in my opinion. But that's it. I don't really have a question of the week, but I guess we'll just ask what everyone else thought about the direct, and if you wanted us to talk a little bit more, or wanted our thoughts on an announcement. Maybe we didn't cover as much because we did kind of bowl over some games there. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you thought of the direct. Maybe what you would like to see Zelda do, or hey, maybe we should be focusing way more on Bravely Default 2, which comes out this week. Who knows? Just let us know. We'll talk to you guys next episode. Jim, do you have the socials up that you want to
Yep.
plug?
If you want to stay up to date with Follow My Tracers, subscribe to us right here on YouTube and click the bell if you want to be notified when we go live. You can also follow us on Twitter at FMT Show and on Facebook at Simply Follow My Tracers. Tony, where can people find you?
Yeah, so you guys can follow me on twitch.tv/figure09. I've been streaming a couple nights a week there. Played a lot of MCC last week, just playing Halo 3 competitive, and that's been a lot of fun. You can also follow me on Twitter at figure09tv. Cool. Jim, what about you?
Very, very nice. If you want to find me, I'm on Xbox at Power Grudge, exactly as it is on screen. If you search for me on Steam, the Epic Games Launcher, and GOG Galaxy, I'm I feel like every week when I say I'm on GOG Galaxy under that name, I don't know if I am for sure, but I'm on everything. If you search my name or add a 450 or something to the end, you're bound to find me.
um, you know what?
I should double check that
I'm gonna
though.
ad lib here a little bit because I really want I don't want to end the show on a negative note because I don't know about you, but I hate kind of ending things on a negative note and then you're kind of stewing after the show or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. So I'm gonna ask a random question, and maybe we can make this a thing moving forward. But what's one game you're really looking forward to playing this week?
Um. Huh. So out of all the things, it doesn't have to be brand new, just in
No,
general.
yeah, just in general.
I think I'm really looking forward to playing Diablo 3 to be honest, because the Diablo 2 announcement kind of got me thinking again. Like, when Diablo 3 first came out, I didn't have, it wasn't on console, so I had a really crappy. It wasn't even a gaming laptop. I just had a really crappy laptop, but I still went out and paid the full price for it. And you know, I always thought, and this is because I was very naive back then, back when it came out. I thought the game was super slow, so I had all the settings cranked, but I was going at like a snail's pace. Wasn't really losing frames, but it was like the game was moving in slow motion. I learned, very quickly, oh wait, I can't run this game. So when I got it on console, I never really got far in it. And as time goes by, it seems like once a month I kind of remind myself I should really play this because as a huge fan of Diablo 2, very obviously, it asked me on the right day. It's either that or Halo 3 is my favorite game.
Yeah.
Um, but just the fact that Diablo 2's announcement got me thinking, like, yeah, I really haven't beaten Diablo 3. I think I'm excited to. I'm going to cheat and say 2 games, but that's one game for sure. I'm actually really excited to get going again. But I'm even more excited to play Final Fantasy 15 more because, like the title suggests, or there's like a subtitle right when you start up the game, it's a Final Fantasy for fans and newcomers. And I wouldn't say I'm a newcomer because I have played a lot of Final Fantasy games, but I'm not. It's because I'm weird when I say it, but I'm not necessarily like a fan. Like I don't follow these games really close. I don't know all the characters. Like with Final Fantasy X, I know you love that game. Like I really can't remember most of the details. Like my brother and I got stuck fighting an octopus underwater or something underwater, and then that's as far as we got, and we stopped.
Yeah.
But but yeah, so I'm just really excited to be playing those 2 games this week. What about you?
Nice. I'm probably gonna be playing Call of Duty until I get to Battle Pass 100. Unfortunately, um, I I guess I don't have to, but I don't know. I'm so close. I feel like I gotta. So I'll
It's
be
nice
doing.
getting to 100 on any battle pass. Like with Fortnite, I still got, oh my god, 40, 44 levels, I think.
Yeah,
43, 44 levels.
I think I'm 10 exactly ahead of you. So I'm wherever you are, plus minus 10 for me. But yeah, I'll probably be doing that. But what I'm actually looking forward to playing, um, is probably finishing the medium because I'm very close to done finishing that game. So I'll have my final thoughts hopefully on the medium on next week's episode of Follow My Tracers. So look out for that.
Very nice.
Cool. So that's our positive
Let's
end of
make
the
that a segment every time. I like that. Let's do
yeah.
that every week.
Ends on a positive note that way. You know. Because even if there's a negative topic or a negative sentiment at the end of the news or our main topic, that way keeps it light. You know, we can just talk about what we're looking forward to gaming. But anyways, that's been it for this week's episode of Follow My Tracers. Thank you everyone for watching. Next week, hopefully, we'll be back at full strength here, and we'll play some video games this week. Hopefully, you guys too. And we will see you guys next week. Peace.
See ya.